This is getting out of hand. Before first period, everything was fine. But the second first period was over, it happened. Bro, no way. Every school water fountain was filled with salsa. Not one, not two, every single water fountain in the building. And here's the frickin' thing. Written on the wall above the water fountain in very thick Sharpie was 6-7. And obviously, as you can imagine, everybody went crazy. Yo, whoever did this was insane. Yo, but what does it mean? Teachers are scrambling, the students are losing, and the custodians are working extra hard to clean this up. And by the end of second period, everything is clean. Well, the school's like, we need to figure out who did this. So after school that day, they checked the cameras. A hooded kid wearing a face mask. He moves quick. He's got tons of jars of salsa in his backpack, and he's just dumping them in every single water fountain and scooting away. Then he slips into the theater hallway, the one with no cameras, and he vanishes. They don't see him again. Nobody gets identified. Nobody confesses. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody's claiming it. And that's when it starts. Kids begin showing up to school with jars of salsa in their backpacks, and every single salsa jar has 6-7 written on the lid. Before you know it, it's a full-blown culture. Who's got the rare stuff that nobody's seen before? Yo, yours looks different. Yeah, my uncle sent it to me from Mexico City. People are trading, people are hoarding jars in their lockers. The school eventually tries to ban salsa. I can't believe I'm saying this, but salsa jars are banned. But that didn't stop anybody. People kept bringing their 6-7 salsa jars to school. Apparently, it has now calmed down a little bit, but I guess the school is still scrambling to stop all of this madness. That is insane. See, it started in 5th grade. Every morning, he would flip open this little blue notebook. His notebook would have 2 columns. On the left, it would say prediction. On the right, it would say results. What was he doing, you ask? He was predicting people's sneezes. And to him, it wasn't a joke. But he would track sneezes every day. And the freaky part was, he got weirdly accurate. It would be math class. He would sit down, he would open the notebook. On the left, under prediction, he would put Ben. 10 minutes later, Ben would sneeze. Under result, he would put Ben. It would be English class. He would sit down. Under predictions, he would put Kylie. 15 minutes into class, Kylie would sneeze, but there were some days where he's like, I don't think anybody's gonna sneeze today. So under prediction, he would put nobody. You see what I'm saying with this? Nobody knew what the point was until the last day of school. Somebody asked him, yo bro, can I see your sneeze notebook? You know what, man? Yeah, here. And there it was, pages and pages and pages of sneeze predictions. And on the last page, the results. Total sneezes predicted correctly, 114. Incorrect predictions, 9. Accuracy rate, 92.7%. He gave the notebook back to the kid, the bell rang, and then it was summer break. I don't know why he did that, but it does kind of sound like a fun thing to do in class. Who's to say? This teacher is insane for this. This class had just finished reading Lord of the Flies in English, and the teacher? She was passionate, maybe too passionate. So after they had finished reading this Lord of the Flies, the next day she tells them this. Class, we are going into the woods tomorrow. Bring a backpack full of things. We're gonna live like the boys on the island. So next day they come with backpacks full of stuff and they head to the woods. No rules, no roles, just chaos. She hands them bandanas and points to the woods behind the school. All right, go. 1 teacher and 20 students. And these weren't just regular kids. Somebody brought a pillowcase full of flour and was whacking people with it. Another kid filled a spray bottle with perfume and was spraying another kid's eyes, trying to blind them. Take that. Soon there was turf wars, alliances, groups getting ambushed. Kids were using mud as war paint. They were getting feral. And the teacher was just standing there at the edge of the woods watching this go down like it's some sort of social experiment. Yes. 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 And it went way too far. Kids were getting bloody noses. One person was throwing up profusely. I don't know why. And the teacher didn't get in trouble for this. Not even like a warning or anything. The principal didn't even know about any of this until a parent called a couple days later. But he still did nothing. And the crazy part is, the next year, this teacher did the same exact thing. Honestly, that sounds kind of fun. Started with a long yellow slip and slide going down the hill at the park. This kid had it set up with a hose and a couple buckets of soapy water. And at the bottom, he had lined up these kiddie pools to help break the fall so he wouldn't get like that grass burn. At first, it was just him and his few friends in this one slip and slide. But when other kids started to gather around wanting to take their turn, he said, okay, everyone chill. $5 gets you 5 runs down the slide. And people paid. By the next week, he had 3 slip and slides side by side. One with a sprinkler arch, one with cool inflatable bumpers, and one had a tunnel attachment that would spray water down as you went through. Each one was fancier than the last. It was basically a water park in the middle of a neighborhood park. Kids were bringing towels, parents were even coming with lawn chairs to get a tan while their kids slip and slided down the hill. One kid really wanted to slide down, but he didn't have any cash. You take Venmo? Sorry, dude, cash only. Ah, man, okay. But you know what? It's real hot today, so just come on. Have fun. That sounds absolutely awesome. You gotta respect the hustle. This kid was so quiet, he was made fun of for it. People said he was weird, awkward, boring, but then one day, the talent show happened. His name was Marcus. He never caused trouble, he sat alone at lunch, and he didn't talk much. So when his name got called at the talent show, people were like, wait, Marcus? Then Marcus walked on stage. He didn't have a smile, there was no intro, he just grabbed the mic, looked at the tech guy, and nodded. Then he opened his mouth, and he sang opera. Like real opera. Some of it was in Latin, he had vibrato, the entire auditorium was silent. People were gasping, one girl started crying. This is beautiful! At the end of the song, he stopped and put the mic down. A second of silence, and then... Yes! Standing ovation. And he's standing there, taking it all in. Thank you! He was kind of a legend for the rest of the year. But after that year, he had transferred schools and nobody saw him again. Until a couple years later, he got a full-ride scholarship to Yale, where he's now getting his doctorate. You know, people were calling him weird, but turns out he was in a whole different league. The kid's gonna be a star. School's parents were so strict. They banned birthdays at their house. No cake, no candles, no parties. So on her 13th birthday, her friends found out. Wait, so you never had a birthday party ever? Nope, never. They were stunned. That is so messed up. You know what? Tomorrow night, we're throwing you one. One of them's house was the perfect spot. A huge backyard, a pool, lights were already strung up for vibes, and they spread the word. By sundown the next day, the backyard was packed. Music blasting, kids cannonballing in the pool. The girl who was hosting the party's parents were there just to keep everyone safe, but they were just sitting back relaxing. Everyone was even chanting her name when she walked in. Marissa, Marissa, happy birthday, Marissa. And for the first time ever, she had a birthday cake with real candles in it. And right as she blew out those candles, there they were. She saw her parents walk into the backyard. Everyone got silent. What is this? Her friend stepped in. Hey, she deserves this. It's her 13th birthday. Her parents looked around and there was dozens of people just staring at them. They were uncomfortable, so they just said, all right, well, we'll pick you up here at 10, okay? 10 p.m. And they left. But still, that was the birthday that she would never, ever forget. This middle school, this gym class was brutal. Every single day, mile runs, rain or shine. No basketball, no dodgeball, just running. So when this kid showed up in a cast, people were jealous. No gym for him for like a month and a half. Eventually, he healed. But when the doctors took his cast off, they gave it back to him. And that gave him a brilliant idea. I have a brilliant idea. He reinforced the inside of the cast with foam, rewrapped parts of the outside with bandage tape, and kept the cast in a sling. Then he began making an offer to students. $50 a month. No gym, no questions asked. So what, I gave you the money, you give me the cast, and I wear it for a month, and then I don't have to do gym? That's right, my furry little friend. What? Nothing. And it worked. Kids who paid would get the cast, put it on, and be limping around school, holding their arm like it hurt. They could even pay extra, and this kid would forge doctor's notes for them. Well, when they walked into gym class with his cast on, the gym teacher asked no questions. They were just gonna sit out, and that was that. Well, demand got so high, the wait list was pretty long. He even had people Venmoing him early to reserve a spot. Well, some teachers were starting to get skeptical about why so many kids were breaking their left arm, but it wasn't that big of a deal yet. And soon enough, this entire business fell apart. One of the kids who rented this cast for a month let his friend borrow it for his gym period. I don't want to do gym today, man. Bro, it's fine. Take this. I rented it. It's mine for the month anyway. Here, put it on. Nice. Super dumb move. So third period, one kid walks into gym class with a cast on. Then fourth period, a completely different kid walks in with the same cast on to gym class. The gym teacher clocked it immediately. They both got sent to the office. They snitched on the kid who ran this business and boom, everything was shut down. Kind of a brilliant idea, but maybe it could have been executed better, but still, you gotta respect the hustle. At this school, band kids were always clowned. Hey, nice clarinet, loser. What the heck? But especially this one kid, named Eli. Eli played the French horn, and he took it everywhere he went. On the bus, assemblies, to class. And there was this one dude named Zach, and Zach would always give Eli crap for playing the French horn. Nice instrument, Eli. I bet it sounds like a dying whale. But Eli didn't let it get to him. Then came the spring concert. Big crowd, parents, staff, the gym was decorated, and Zach was there because his mom forced him to go because she was on the school board or something. Well, halfway through, the conductor goes, "And now, a featured solo by our French horn player, Eli." And Zach's like, "Okay, let's see this." Eli stands, French horn in hand, and he cooks. It's not just good, it's cinematic. The entire crowd stopped breathing during the solo because it was that beautiful. Finishes, there was a few seconds of silence, and then the crowd erupts. After the show, Zach walks over to Eli, and all he says is this: "Hey man, yeah, you snapped. My bad for everything. Sorry." Eli doesn't say a word, he picks up his French horn, and he walks away. This woman's daughter begged to learn piano, like, for weeks. So finally her mom says, "Okay, but I'm not buying you a real piano, it's a keyboard." Doesn't matter, it's fine, her daughter is still super hyped. So they go to Target and her mom buys her this keyboard. But there's a catch. "Okay, so you want piano lessons, right? Well, here is what we're gonna do. 6 months minimum, no quitting early, and you practice 20 minutes a day." And the kid agrees. At first, it's fine. She's learning songs. She's really enjoying this. Then week 8 hits. She starts not practicing. She starts skipping. One day here, one day there. You know, she's getting more homework, school's stressful, she can't do it all. And her mom reminds her, "Listen, every day you don't practice, you owe me those minutes. You will make them up." Then comes the school trip. 3 days, 2 nights, her entire grade's going. She's been excited about this for months. And the mom goes, "Hey, so I know your trip is coming up this weekend, but you've missed 11 practice days on the piano. So before you go, you need to make up 11 hours of piano practice." The kid's like, "Wait, what?" "Yeah, if you do not make up the 11 hours, you are not going on that trip." So she has to make up 11 hours of piano practice. But the thing is, the trip is like 4 days away. That's a lot of piano practice. The dad tries to step in. "Hey, we already paid for the trip. This is kind of ridiculous, don't you think? Kevin, I am teaching our daughter a lesson. If you don't want to support me on this, then get out." Well, the daughter tries to make up those 11 hours, but with homework and sleep, she can't do it. And her mom forces her to stay home from the trip. That is not okay. Started as this dumb thing. Some kid threw their own backpack into the air to be funny. Oh, it got caught on the top of one of the worst trees on campus. Thin branches, really high up, impossible to climb it seemed like. They tried everything. "Here, I'll throw my shoe at it." "Dang it. I'll throw a trash can at it." "Dang it." Nothing was working. That's when one kid suggested this. "Guys, we should call Squirrel Boy." "No way, dude. Bro, we can't call Squirrel Boy." But there was no other option. So every school has that one kid. Well, this school had Squirrel Boy. He wore fingerless gloves. He said things like, "The ground is only a suggestion." He once perched on top of the basketball hoop during a game. "Get on from there." He scaled the brick wall on the side of the school building just to prove a point. And one time, he sat at the top of the flagpole for the entire lunch period, perched. Everybody would make fun of him, but on that day, they needed him. Somebody texted him. 10 minutes later, jogged around the corner eating trail mix. Didn't ask what happened. He saw the backpack, he saw the tree, and he knew what he had to do. I got this. He literally climbed the entire tree in like 3 seconds, and he threw that backpack down. The second he got down, he just walked away. "Thanks, Squirrel Boy." "Yeah, thanks, Squirrel Boy. Squirrel Boy's cool now." And from that moment on, nobody made fun of Squirrel Boy ever again. School's over this one day, and this kid's grandpa pulls up. Windows down, and he's waving his grandson over. "Hey, come here. Hey, come on, I'm here." Kid's like, "Okay." Yeah, it wasn't his grandson. It was a kid that had the same jacket and the same backpack as him. But for some reason, the kid still gets in the car, and the grandpa starts driving away. "So how was school, buddy?" Kid's like, good. "That's what I like to hear." The grandpa makes it halfway back home, and the kid finally says, "Sir, I'm not your grandson." "What? Oh, Jesus." Now cut back to the school. This kid's actual grandson's like, "I don't know where he is." The grandpa then screeches back into the parking lot. "I had the wrong kid. I have the wrong kid. That one's my grandson." "Oh, hey, okay. Well, now I actually missed my bus. You think you can actually drive me home?" Sure." So now he has his grandson in the car, and the kid he thought was his grandson in the car. "Dude, you got kidnapped by my grandpa." I know, it's crazy. The next day, those two sat by each other at lunch, and they've been best friends ever since. That is beautiful. This is a super unique school business. So this dude would make end-of-the-year videos, like a video yearbook. And at first, it looked like any end-of-the-year video. Music, selfies, people walking to class, doing finger hearts. But then it would cut to black, and the title would pop up. The real yearbook. You see, it turns out this one student had been filming everything all year. Not the school spirit stuff, not the assemblies, not the sports teams. He filmed all the chaos and the shenanigans. The 5-person fight in Spanish class. The time one Hawaiian roll started the biggest food fight in that school's history. Even the teacher's meltdown during second period.
You guys are the worst class I've ever had. Screw you.
And the edit of the results would be insane. Perfect cuts, super good sound design, transitions, and at the end of the year, he would tell people to report to room 108, which is one of the club rooms. It was after school, and he told people it was $2 to get in. Most people had no clue what this was about, but they paid anyway, and by 3:15, the entire room was packed with people. The lights go off. It's silent. He presses play and the projector goes. The video starts and it's epic. People are laughing, they're cheering, they're losing their minds. It was all the crazy stuff that happened that year in one perfectly edited video. When it was over, somebody said,
"Yo, bro, that was awesome. Run it back."
But he didn't. Instead, he pulled out this Tupperware container that was filled with flash drives. Each flash drive had the file of that video on it, and he sold them for $10 each. Guess what? They sold out, and he made absolute bank. He did this exact same thing for a few years after this. And then he stopped. But seriously, what a genius idea. You gotta respect this kid's hustle. So this girl takes her boyfriend out for his 23rd birthday. Small Italian place, no reservations, just first come, first serve for the tables. Well, these two wait 30 minutes, and they're finally taken to a table. They order some drinks, they're settling in, they're having a very nice time. Then this family walks in. Mom, dad, 2 kids. The hostess tells them, it's gonna be 30 minutes. The mom then loses it. 30 minutes? My kids are hungry now. This is ridiculous. People are taking up big tables when they're just couples. And she literally points right at this girl and her boyfriend. Like them. Yo, I think that lady's talking about us. Oh my God, she is. The mom then marches over to their table. Hi, you two don't mind moving so me and my family can sit here, do you? You're young. You can wait. The girlfriend's jaw drops. Excuse me? So get up. Get up, please. Now. She's losing her mind. The waiter then comes over and is like, ma'am, you can't just ask guests to give up their table, okay? You're gonna have to wait like everybody else. This is ridiculous. There's no respect these days. So she goes back to the front. Her whole family looks super embarrassed of her, as they should be. She was out of line. And then when the hostess finally got them a table, it was right by the bathroom and the kitchen. So they were very uncomfortable. Good. This kid turned a broken vending machine into a business. So during construction at this one school, it got moved to this weird corner by the band room. Most people ignore it. It's kind of like cracked. The lights don't work in there. It just looks off. This one freshman notices something. If you tilt the keypad kind of forward, it'll come off. And there's a bunch of random little switches and buttons behind it. And he realized if you just press a bunch of these buttons, snacks just start falling out of the vending machine. This broken vending machine. What does this do? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I hit the jackpot. So instead of going nuts, he keeps this quiet. Starts posting on Snapchat. $1 chips, meet by the band room. By this point, he had gathered a bunch of snacks from this vending machine. And people were lining up to pay for these snacks. And the thing is, he's selling these for cheaper than the vending machine charged because, well, he got them for free. By the end of the first week, it was a full-blown snack operation and he made $80. But one day, a custodian was kind of watching him from afar and saw what he was doing. What is that kid doing? Nice. Dear God. The day after that, the vending machine was moved. But by that point, most of the snacks were gone anyway, and he made a good amount of money. So, hey, you gotta respect the hustle. Kid was sleeping over at his friend's house, and he wakes up in the middle of the night, hungry. I'm hungry. He remembers that there was graham crackers in the kitchen, and he figured that'll work. So he gets up and he steps out of the room. But the second he lays foot in the hallway... What? A motion sensor alarm goes off. Within seconds, the lights turn on and his friend's dad comes barging out of his bedroom. Who's out here? You. It's just me. I was getting a snack. The dad then pointed to multiple small boxes on the baseboard of the hallway. You see these, kid? Motion sensors. No one's allowed to leave their rooms after midnight. Heads back into the bedroom and his friend's awake. Hey, bro, I'm sorry about that. Dude, that's so messed up. You have a curfew for inside your house. I know, it sucks. And this was so uncomfortable for him that he never slept at that house ever again. With 7 friends in the basement of the house. Blankets on the floor, video games going, pizza, junk food everywhere. All the makings of a great sleepover. Well, before the night really even started, the mom walked down the stairs and said this.
Midnight. You guys better be asleep by midnight.
Everyone nodded. Yeah, sure, okay. Because let's be honest, every parent says it at a sleepover, but that never is what happens. So they went all in. Xbox tournaments, Mario Kart, laughing loudly, telling crazy stories. It was awesome. Well, it's midnight. It's 12:01. And the party's still going. They're still being loud. It's now 12:30 a.m. and they're even louder. Then the basement door slams open and the mom comes downstairs. And she's mad.
Get your phones out now. Every single one of you is calling your parents you're getting picked up tonight.
Wait, what? Like all of us?
Yes, all of you. Sleepover is over.
And by 1 a.m., the basement living room was empty. Just blankets and crumbs and that mom's very, very sad kid. I mean, yeah, I get being frustrated that your kid and his friends are being loud, but hey, they're kids. This is messed up. It was April, heat was rising, classrooms were packed, the AC wasn't working very well, and the school had a rule. No standing up during class, even for a second. Not even to stretch. What? The teacher said it disrupted the learning environment. Whatever, that's completely bogus. Well, this one kid named Andy, he has this knee condition. It was a sports injury, he had done physical therapy, all this stuff. Well, he gets into class, the bell had barely rung, and his knee was bothering him, so he shifted in his chair a bit and stood up to adjust. Andy! It was his history teacher. You know the rule. Or do you? No. I wasn't walking around, my knee was hurting, I had to go office now. He gets into the office and he explains everything to the principal. Are you disrespecting your teacher's orders? No, I just needed to detention today. Well, you see, this kid's mom was a nurse, and when she finds out about this, she was pissed. Well, she shows up the next day with his medical records and slaps them on the principal's desk. Hey, unless you're planning on becoming a doctor, you're gonna let my kid stand up when his knee hurts, okay? Yes, ma'am. Apparently she was so intense, the principal was freaked out, he talked to the teacher, and that rule changed very quick. What kind of teacher would do that, though? That's insane. This teacher messed up. So it started a week earlier when the fire alarm glitched, and it began going off every 30 minutes. People took it seriously at first, but when they realized it was a glitch, everybody got super annoyed. This has got to stop. And it was happening on and off for 3 days. So a week later, it eventually stops for a bit. And then a week later, it happens in Mr. Halverson's math class. But he is so fed up and traumatized from the previous week that he just keeps teaching over the alarm. Oh, here we go again. E equals MC what? MC squared. A few students are confused and they stand up. But he's like, sit down, this is fake, we are not doing this again. And the whole class just sat there, staring, listening to the piercing sound of the alarm while being taught math by their unhinged teacher. Then, the door slams open. A firefighter storms in, full gear, smoke behind him, and he looks furious. What are you doing? Get out! The building's on fire! Everyone scrambles, backpacks are flying, the building is actually on fire, and Mr. Halverson is just standing there like, oh, no. So yeah, Mr. Halverson, during an actual fire, forced 27 students to stay in his classroom. Yeah, he definitely messed up. So this kid spent his summer at yard sales. Every Saturday, he'd be out in the neighborhood scanning tables looking for sneakers at these garage sales. Didn't matter if they were brand new or perfect condition, any sneaker with a logo worked. Nike, Adidas, doesn't matter, and he was finding them. Some were $5 a pair, some were $8 a pair, some were free. Just take them, man. I don't want them anymore. Fantastic. He would take them home, scrub them with a toothbrush, swap them with brand new laces. He would then throw them up on Facebook Marketplace and eBay. And people were buying these shoes. $40, $80, sometimes even over $100. He said it was crazy how many rare shoes people were selling for like $5. His brother would come home every day from working at Subway, and this kid would just be sitting there counting his cash. His parents finally asked, Kevin, where's all this money coming from, man? And he just opened up his closet. Look at this. Reselling sneakers. By the end of summer, he had made more than his brother made the entire summer at Subway, all from reselling $5 sneakers. You gotta respect the hustle. Behind the stage in the auditorium, there was this old supply closet. Small, dark, the door was kinda hidden. Nobody ever used it. But this one high school junior, he finds it. He cleans it up and he starts bringing stuff in. He puts cushions on the floor, extra pillows, a lamp from his house, and he had this nice big blanket that had cats on it. At first, it's just for him. He's got a second period independent study, and he starts taking full-on naps in there. But eventually, he tells 2 of his friends. Then a couple seniors hear about it, and people start asking. He turns this cushiony nap room into a rental. $10 gets you that room for an entire period. One person at a time, quiet, clean, no stress. And here's the genius part. He would set up guards. A kid who would sit by in a folding chair, pretending to read lines. But really, this person's just there to keep an eye on things, make sure the person doesn't get disturbed in the nap room, and make sure that teachers don't come by looking around. And they rotate guard duty based on who had the period free. It's a whole system, and nobody ever gets caught. One day, this kid bought a bunch of clear iPhone cases for cheap, and he had this friend who was good with graphic design. So what he would do is he would have his friend make this cool design of whatever he wanted. His friend would then print it and cut it down so it would fit perfectly inside this phone case. And it looked awesome. Clear phone case, this graphic design insert, it was legit. Custom fit, looked expensive. He did it to his phone case first. It was an anime design and it looked awesome. People saw this and they were immediately intrigued. Well, interest grew. And soon, he was taking orders for people. NBA, anime, SpongeBob, Shrek. He was making these custom phone cases and selling them. Then he starts bundling them together. 3 phone cases for $10. 6 for $15. And business was absolutely booming. He kept buying these clear phone cases. His friend kept designing these designs and custom cutting them to fit the cases. And people were buying them. They were all over the school. The thing was, his friend that was designing these and printing them was using the school's printers. The IT guy realized how much printing had been done, and he told the principal. And this whole thing had to be shut down. But by then, he had made $530. And those phone cases became collectibles. Some students even reselling them for 3 times the price they bought them for. Honestly, you gotta respect the hustle. There was this one sophomore named Gus. And Gus lived right next to the school. And every day, he would walk to the school with his pet goose. Not a joke, a real goose. Alright, come on, buddy. He would walk and the goose would be strutting right next to his side. The crazy part is this goose was incredibly well behaved. And the teachers loved him. The goose would sit next to Gus in class. Good morning, class. Good morning, goose. Even the principal loved him. But there was one teacher, Mrs. Redmond, who hated the goose. I hate that goose. Didn't trust it, didn't like animals, didn't like students either, but one morning, Mrs. Redmond storms in, looks at the goose and goes, "That's it, this is not a farm, get that goose
off of school property now."
And the goose is just sitting there like, bro, what did I do? And somehow Gus gets a detention, and that's when Gus kind of snapped. So it was a small school, and Gus knew that Mrs. Redmond always stayed late to grade papers or tests, alone in her classroom. So after school, Gus walked home. But before he left, he went into Mrs. Redmond's classroom. She wasn't in there yet. He put Goose in the back of the classroom. So when Mrs. Redmond finally walked into her classroom to grade papers, she sees the goose and she screams. Well, that scared the goose, and the goose freaked out and began pecking the heck out of Mrs. Redmond's face. She didn't come to school the next day, but when she did return, she called for the execution of the goose. But Gus kept the goose safe in a shed in his yard. Unfortunately, Gus didn't bring Goose to school anymore, but Gus got his revenge, and that's all that mattered to him. This one school had a weird tradition. Kids would drop food off the top of the staircase and watch it explode on the ground. One kid, this kid named Jeff, brings a tomato. He walks all the way to the top of the staircase. He looks down and he goes, "Yeah, I shouldn't do this." And then his friend takes the tomato out of his hand. "Scaredy cat, I'll do it." His friend throws it, and splat, it explodes all over the floor. Well, the teacher saw this and looked up. Only thing the teacher saw was Jeff. "Jeff, office now." Jeff's like, "I didn't do it," but he was dragged to the office anyway. He gets in there, he's sitting down. "Just admit you threw it." "I didn't." They didn't believe him, they suspended him. Later that day, the kid who actually did it confessed. The school then suspends him, but they refuse to undo Jeff's suspension. They claim they have video proof of the 2 kids throwing the tomato together, but they keep saying, "We can't release the video for privacy reasons." They're both still suspended. Well, a few days passed, and Jeff's older brother shows up at the school, and he is serious. "Hey, you guys better show the video now." "I said we can't." "If you don't show the video, you're gonna regret it." I guess the brother was a bit more intense than that, but they finally show the video, and the video has nothing on it. It's just a blank wall. The school still keeps the 2 kids suspended. Well, Jeff's siblings and Jeff's friends are super mad about this, so they tell the entire school to bring a tomato tomorrow. "Hey, everybody, tomorrow, bring a tomato and meet at the top of the staircase." Next day at lunch, splat, splat, splat. At least 50 tomatoes were dropped from the top of the staircase. It's a full-blown tomato apocalypse. The school could not suspend everybody. And Jeff and his friend got that suspension taken off their record. Yeah, good. After winter break, this new girl transferred to this school. Her name was Nicole. Nicole was kind of shy. She wore the same fleece jacket every single day. And at first, during lunch every single day, she would eat in her car by herself. But after a week, one of the girls from this lunch table decided to invite her to sit with them. Hey, I saw you eating in your car during lunch. Why don't you sit with us tomorrow? All right, yeah. Thanks. So the next day comes around and she's sitting at this table. She's not talking much at all. She's just smiling politely and eating her lunch. And she sat at this table for the next few days. And every day during lunch, she would pull out this tiny folded note and she would read it to herself. Then she would smile and put it back in her lunchbox. Well, one of the girls at the table asks this. Hey, so what's with the note thing? You do it every day. And Nicole says this. Oh, well, my nanny writes me a note with my lunch, and she's done that every day since I was little. Then another girl goes, isn't that, like, kind of embarrassing, though? Like, that's super babyish. You're not in 3rd grade anymore. Nicole's face changed. Oh, well, I mean, she does it for my little siblings, too. It's just something that she's always done. It's just super weird. The next day, she was gone. Back to eating in her car. No one saw her at lunch after that day. The person that originally invited her talked to her friends. She wasn't happy. You guys are horrible for that. She's had a really rough home life, and that nanny's like a mom to her, and I just can't believe you. And the worst part is, her friends laughed at her for sticking up for Nicole. That's messed up. It was the hottest week of summer. This one kid shows up to the park with a big red cooler. He opens a chair right next to it and sits down. And when people start complaining about the heat, he pops open his cooler. And inside is dozens of popsicles. I got all sorts of flavors. Red, blue, grape, $3 each. Oh, hey bro, where'd you get all these? Costco, baby. And that day he sold out. And he did it again the next day. By day 3, he's got dry ice in his cooler. And the second he rolled up to the park, people were already there waiting for him with cash in their hand. Soccer kids, the basketball court kids, even younger kids with their parents. One afternoon, this happened. I'll take one red one, please. All right, that's $5. Wait, what? I thought it was $3. I'm sorry, man. It's 95 degrees. Prices go up over 90. Pretty soon, he's known as the popsicle guy. And he's walking out with like $50 to $70 of cash every single day. Business was absolutely booming. What a good summer hustle. One day, the park manager walks by. Excuse me, man. You had a permit for this? It's hot out today, isn't it? Oh, man. It's brutal. Here, take 2 popsicles on the house. My man. And that was that. He continued that for the rest of the summer. You gotta respect the hustle. 7th grade, and this kid Lucas brings a bunch of Costco gum to school. Tons of packs. Every single flavor. And he never made a big deal about it, but he would pull them out here and there so that people could see. And naturally, they would ask for a piece of gum. And when they did, 50 cents. Oh, I don't have any money right now. Oh, that's fine. Pay me later. And that was his thing. You know, at first, people were like, he's not going to ask for that money later, you know? It's just a piece of gum. But that's where they were completely wrong. Because after he would give someone a piece of gum and say, pay me later, he would pull out a tiny notebook and write down the debt in that notebook. Everybody had a tab. Their name, their flavor, and how much they owed. But the thing is, he wanted this debt to grow. He would walk up to them. Hey, so you still owe me from last week, but I just got this crazy new watermelon flavor. You want a piece? I'll just put it on your tab. And he just kept stacking debt on top of debt on top of debt. Until finally, he decided it was time to collect. He goes to the 2 biggest kids in class. Carl? Mordecai? Yeah. I'll give you 10%. Here's the list. Get me my money. And they would go around school with the list. Hey, you got Lucas's money? I'm here to collect. And these kids were big and intimidating, and people did pay him back. Lucas made like $175 before this whole thing was shut down. You gotta respect the hustle, I guess. This kid missed English class, 1st period. And he shows up to 2nd period like nothing happened. People were wondering where he was. One of his friends leans in and asked, yo, why'd you miss English class? We turned in our essays today. And the kid just goes, oh, my cow was giving birth. Oh. He says it like it's the most normal thing ever. He still had mud on his boots, there was like hay coming out of his pockets, and he smelled a little weird. It was probably from that cow birth. People just nodded, like, okay, yeah, farm kid stuff. Okay. And so what if he missed English, you know? His essay wasn't gonna win any awards at the state fair anyway, but his cow might. Huh? Okay. This kid scammed his entire school. Now, this kid didn't always do this, but he was very broke. So one day, he overhears that this girl named Jessica is having a birthday coming up. Doesn't even know her that well at all. But that night, he walks to the CVS by his house, and he buys a $2 birthday card. And the next morning, hey, so Jessica's birthday is tomorrow, and I'm getting signatures in this birthday card, and I'm also collecting something small. Hi, can you sign this? I'm collecting something small for Jessica's birthday. Hey, I'm collecting something small for Jessica's birthday tomorrow. She's been having kind of a rough year, and I'm just trying to make her feel seen. People start signing the card. Some hand him $1. Oh, that's actually so sweet of you. Yeah, here's a few bucks. He's walking the cafeteria with this birthday card. That day, he got 20 signatures and $30. And he signs the card last. He says, "You got this. We're all rooting for you." What? The next day, he walks up to Jessica with this huge smile. "Hey, happy birthday." And he hands her the card, but not the money. She starts tearing up. No, because this is actually so nice of you. He does it again with a different kid. Anything helps. He's had a hard month. Boom, another $40. And he tries it again. Alex Johnson's birthday is tomorrow, and I'm collecting some money. His dog just died. Little did he know that Alex Johnson was sitting at that table. "Yo, I'm Alex, and my dog's fine." What the heck? Crap. People start catching on to this shenanigan. And within a week, the school's investigating this kid, and it's became this giant deal. But he made $217 before this whole thing collapsed, which is actually kind of genius and kind of impressive. Come on, you gotta respect the hustle. This kid ran a genius business. It happened in high school, so this kid's older brother had just graduated, and he was working full-time at a pizza place across town. And every day, there were always leftover pizzas. Messed up orders, orders that nobody picked up, stuff like that. So one day, the brother texts him around lunchtime and says, "Yo, we got an extra pepperoni and veggie. Want me to bring it to you, man, for lunch?" And he's like, heck yeah. So his brother comes and gives him these pizzas at lunchtime, and by the next period, he had sold 6 slices for $3 a piece. And this made him feel good. They loved the pizza, and he made some money. Now, this is not an everyday thing. It was only when there was extras, but that's what made it special. You never knew when it was gonna happen. Some days it would hit during 4th period. Some days there wasn't pizza at all. One time he sold 2 large sausage pizzas to the entire chess team. Another time he walked into drama rehearsal with a Hawaiian pizza and left with $19. It was this really cool little system that this kid and his brother had. And by spring, he's basically making like minimum wage for the amount of work he's putting in. And he never spent a dime on anything, so everything he made was pure profit. The awesome part is he ran this business with no ingredients, no oven, no store, just leftovers, a cool brother, and a little hustle. You gotta respect that. This girl was 13 years old when this happened. Her stepmom had been in her life for 3 years, but they still weren't close. She didn't listen to her stepmom, she didn't really trust her, and she would make that clear.
"I don't trust you."
"I don't care."
Well, that week, her dad was overseas for a funeral. So it was just her and her stepmom. And he was going to be there for 3 weeks. So every day, her stepmom would pick her up from school at 3. But she would always come out of school late, like 30 to 45 minutes late, which is kind of crazy and a bit annoying.
"I've been waiting here for 45 minutes. This is the 3rd day in a row."
And the kid would just roll her eyes.
Get over it.
So one day, the stepmom decides she's not going to wait. She's not going to show up. She's gonna let her figure it out herself. So the next day, she doesn't go to the school. She stays home and then she just waits. So at 7 p.m., she finally is like, "Yo, I should call my stepdaughter." But she doesn't answer. So she calls the school. "Hi, yes, I'm wondering, is Kayla Johnson still there?" Kayla Johnson? No, she walked home at around 3:30. Oh no. Yeah, she messed up. She panics, she calls the neighbors, she calls the police. Eventually, they find her in somebody's backyard a few blocks away. What happened was she tried cutting through yards to get home. Well, one yard had a dog, and it bit her in the leg. Badly. She limped away, realized her phone was dead, so she sat down and just cried. I mean, yeah, she shouldn't have went through someone's backyard, but still, this girl's 13. Her stepmom is responsible for her. The dad caught a flight that night. Are you kidding me? You let this happen. I'm at the airport right now. I am
So done with you.
The daughter now has a permanent scar, and the dad left the stepmom. And like I said, the girl was 13 years old. You can't just do that. Messed up. A beautiful lunchtime service. While everybody else ate chicken nuggets on plastic plates, a couple students disappeared every single lunch period and came back smelling like meat and potatoes. The chef, his name was Liam. What's up? I'm Liam. Both of Liam's parents were chefs, so he grew up learning the trade. Now at school, he had cooking class first period, and he had a free period right before lunch. So he launched a business. For $30, you got a private table backstage of the auditorium, a 3-course meal he cooked the night before, fresh linens, candlelight, and music. He would reheat everything in the cooking room, and he would plate it himself, and he served it to his guests, wearing an apron, gloves, and a chef hat. And the thing is, people booked this service every single day to impress their crush. This is nice, huh? It's delicious. You really outdid yourself here. To settle rivalries, I'll stop stealing your pencils, but you gotta stop tying my shoes together during class. Fine, you have a deal. Tiramisu for you both? Ah, yes, thank you. This is lovely. Some kids even booked it to make business deals. I'll sell your product at the basketball games, but I want 15%, 10%. But I have a new business launching soon, and I'll get you in on the ground floor, 50-50. You have a deal. Tiramisu? Ah, yes, please. This is lovely. And spots filled up in advance. This service was booked like 3 weeks. He only did 1 table a day. He never advertised. It was simply word of mouth. If you wanted to book, you would have to come up to him and say, "Chef, do you still offer your service?" "Absolutely. I could fit you in 2 weeks on the 17th. I'll take it." Holy crap. You gotta respect the hustle. Now on, you sit here by yourself. I hate my life. This kid was 10 years old, smartest kid in class. He aced every test, every assignment, but he was also super funny. Everybody loved him. And you see, the classrooms were set up like this. Round tables, and each table had like 5 people at it. Well, in this class, everybody wanted this kid at their table because he was just such a good time. That is until one day, the teacher deemed him too distracting. She pulled him away from his 5 friends and made him sit in a desk facing the wall at the back of the room. "Sit down." And he was the only one back there. The rest of the class were sitting in their groups. Group projects, he worked alone. He wasn't allowed to talk. Week after week, he kept thinking, "Surely I'll be moved back to my table soon." But the teacher never let him. And slowly, he could feel the gap building. His friends got closer with each other and farther from him. That desk in the corner became his life. For 10 months. A punishment that was supposed to last a week lasted for 10 months. And that is not fair. Fights started in the hallway. Slamming into lockers, shouting, loud noises. When it was finally over, one teacher saw one kid whose shirt was ripped. And that was Ethan. Hey, I'm Ethan. Ethan didn't throw a punch. He wasn't even a part of the fight. He was just the one who was trying to pull his best friend Marcus off of the other kid. So when the principal called Ethan to the office, Ethan just took the hit. "Did you do this?" "Yeah, I did." "And what about your friend Marcus? I saw him near you. Was he involved too?" "No, he wasn't. It was all me." He's suspended for 3 days. When he comes back, a few people treated him a little differently, like he was some sort of, bad kid. But a couple days later, his friend Marcus couldn't hold it in anymore. He felt guilty. So he went to the principal's office. He was crying. He told them the complete truth. The next day, Ethan's called in. "You could have cleared your own name. Why didn't you?" "Nah, it just didn't feel right. Marcus has got enough stuff going on." "I'm incredibly proud of you, Ethan." "I am." By the end of that year, Ethan's grades aren't perfect. But the principal writes him a college recommendation letter. And it was so good that he got into his first choice college. That's amazing. It started as a joke. A single piece of gum stuck to the wall behind the gym bleachers. Hidden, tucked away. Well, one kid started adding to it. Then as a joke, he told his friends.
"Yo guys, donate your gum. We're building something behind the bleachers."
And every day after lunch, more and more pieces were being added to this gum blob. By October, it was the size of a shoebox. By December, it was this giant glob of pink, gray, orange, and blue colors. And it was giving off this strange but fruity smell. Kids would swing by and salute this gum blob every day after gym. It was this fun thing that everyone was kind of involved in. One day, the janitor warned him,
"Hey, listen, I see this abomination behind the bleachers. You better clean this up."
"No."
After the threat from the janitor, he knew that time was running out, so him and his friends tried to add as much as they possibly could to it. And then one day, he goes back there, and he sees 3 of the janitors scraping this gum blob away, and he was sad. But then he got a great idea. He went into the garbage where that gum was now sitting, and he cut off little pieces and put them into Ziploc bags. He put 10 pieces of this gum blob into different bags, and he sold them. Limited edition relics. And the crazy part is, the people that were actually involved in this bought them. I guess they wanted a keepsake, a memory. He sold those chewed bag pieces for $4 each. Honestly, hey, you gotta respect the hustle. There's this one Shell gas station in town, and one afternoon, a middle schooler decides that he is gonna run it. So he's standing in this gas station after school one day. He grabs one of those squeegees and he just starts wiping down cars. "Hey, how's it going? Just cleaning up your windshield for you." "Thank you, young man." The person would then pay for gas. "No, get back in your car. I'll pump it for you and I'll put it away when it's done, all right? You are so sweet. Haha. Here's a couple quarters for you." And he just does that over and over and over again. He's getting quarters, sometimes dollar bills. And the best part, the actual clerk inside the gas station is this super old guy, so he doesn't really know what's going on at all. So day after day, this kid's working there like it's a full-service gas station, cleaning cars, pumping gas, checking the air in the tires. One lady even goes inside and tells the real clerk, "The new guy you hired is fantastic. We all love him." "Oh." The clerk squints out the window and sees this kid wiping down a big SUV. Well, as long as he's not breaking anything, I'm fine with it. And for like a month straight, this kid ran his own after-school business at the Shell gas station and nobody stopped him. Now that is a real hustle. This kid's an evil genius. At this school at the end of the year, they had a kindness award. The person who would win this kindness award would be given a $50 Dairy Queen gift card, 5 homework passes, and your picture on the wall of the main office. Well, the thing is, the person who won was voted on by a random committee of teachers. 5 teachers, different every year. So 2 months before the vote, this kid hatches a plan. He finds out who's on the committee. 1, 2, 3, 4, and Mrs. Stevens is the last one. Perfect. Once he found out, he starts doing the most calculated acts of kindness in front of each and every one of the teachers on the committee. For one teacher, he holds the door open for her every single morning. Ah, yes, good morning, Mrs. Stevens. Oh, how nice. Good morning, good morning. That's right, I'm nice. Another teacher, he brings in a plant labeled for your mental health and hands it to her. Here you go, Mrs. Johnson. I thought you would like this. Oh my God, I love plants. How kind are you? That's right, I'm kind. What was that? Nothing. Don't forget to water it. Bye. One time during lunch, he stands on a table and gives a speech about gratitude. And then after that, he walked around the cafeteria picking up trash, helping the janitors. It wasn't even subtle. One time, he handed a granola bar to one of the teachers and straight up said, "Here you go, for kindness." Well, aren't you just a nice student? And at the end of the year, he frickin' wins, and it's by a landslide. And that day, after school, he took that $50 Dairy Queen gift card, and he spent it all on himself. Needless to say, he had a terrible stomachache the next day. But hey, you gotta respect the hustle. At this school during lunch, milk cartons were free, and they were all just sitting on this table. So one day, these 3 5th graders, they stockpiled 20 milk cartons, shoving them in their backpacks, in their pockets, up their sleeve, and they take them out to recess. They walk over to the brick wall on the side of the building, and they just start chucking the milk cartons against the wall. Yeah, milk! Milk! The milk cartons are exploding, milk is spraying everywhere, a crowd gathers. Kids are cheering, they're watching this like it's a frickin' sporting event. Well, that's when somebody says, "Yo, the principal, he's coming!" Oh crap. The 3 milk chuckers put their hoods up and they just disappear into the crowd. The vice gets there. Alright, who did this? And it was instant snitching, names and details. The principal immediately starts searching for these kids. And there were close calls, but these guys were really sneaky. Hiding against benches, behind trees, in the slide. Somehow, they never get caught, and the rest of the day is a frickin' mission. At lunch, the principal and the vice principal are posted at the table that these kids usually sit at. Oh crap, he's right there. Let's eat in the band room. Milk! That entire day they managed to escape the wrath of the principal. And when school was over, they went home. But the craziest part is, some random kid cleaned up the milk wall by himself, just because he wanted to. When the principal went out and asked him why he was doing this, "Why are you doing this?" "Because it's the right thing to do." That's legendary. Stephen was a quiet kid that got bullied for everything, but one day he decided to change that. It was a second-floor classroom. Stephen was sitting by the window, and he decided that today was the day he was not going to be bullied anymore and that he was going to become a legend. Now, the funny thing about Stephen was that he was actually shredded. Well, the teacher was mid-lesson, and Stephen opens up the window, and he jumps out. There was a single-story building right outside this window, so he just jumped down onto that. And then, he started dancing. Like full-on dancing, poses, spins, his hands were in the air, frickin' jazz hands. One kid near the window said, "Bro thinks he's doing a halftime show." He was hyped. He thought he did a great dance, so he hopped down to the courtyard, walked back in school, and sat down in the classroom. But the thing is, nobody even saw him do it. Just that one kid by the window. "Nice work, man." He was livid. He did all that because he wanted to be this legend of a kid who danced on the roof of the school building. But no one noticed him, so the next week he came and he did it again. Same class, same window, same routine, and again, nobody noticed. Did anybody see that? See what, Stephen, huh? The world does not revolve around you. Pay attention to the lesson. I hate my life. The wrong grandkid. Every few months, she would get an envelope in the mail. Oh, sweet. It was Grandma's handwriting. Inside of it, a crisp $20 bill. And a note that said, "For gas. I don't even drive, Mom." Grandma's old, sweetie, let's not question it. Money's money. Years go by and the letters keep coming. Always the same message. For gas. Then one summer, the entire family's over for a barbecue. Well, her cousin pulls up. New car, loud music bumping. He's about 5 years older than she is. "What's up, family?" Grandma hugs him. She's laughing. "Oh, I see that gas money's going to good use. The cousin goes, gas money? Yeah, I've been mailing it to you for years. Well, this girl overheard that. Grandma, you've been mailing me that. Oh, my fault. What had happened was the grandma had written down this address years ago. It was the wrong address. It was the address of Ashley Johnson. The grandkid she meant to send it to was Adam Johnson. So all she wrote on the letter was A. Johnson. You can see where the confusion would come into play. Well, Grandma, looks like you owe me like $300 now. No, your cousin probably needed that money more than you do. I mean, look at your nice car. You got plenty of it. That's hilarious. So this kid had the biggest yard in the entire neighborhood. It's the yard that people always ended up hanging out at. But one summer, he had a bigger idea. He thought about those giant music festivals and how much money they make. And he thought, why not try to have one in my backyard? So first he held auditions. Bands, comics, magicians, whatever. Bring your instruments, bring your tricks, just show me what you got. And the best acts got a spot on the lineup. He built a stage out of stacked wood pallets and plywood. It wasn't fancy, but it worked. A friend brought an amp, some dude brought a microphone, it was all coming together. At the front gate of his yard, he had two friends working security. $10 a ticket. And inside, hot dogs and soda for $2 each, and his dad manned the grill. That night, the whole frickin' neighborhood showed up. Parents, kids, even people he didn't know. And the band was crushing it. Folding chairs around the bonfire, people dancing to the music. It was a beautiful sight. By the end of the night, they had made a really good amount of money. And he thought to himself, I'm gonna put this money towards doing it again next year. And that's exactly what he did. The next year, it happened again. Bigger and better. And he kept doing it. It wasn't just a big party. It became a tradition for the entire neighborhood. And they loved it. You gotta respect the hustle. This kid had terrible handwriting. Like, teachers would sigh whenever they saw his papers. Good Lord! So when this kid's class had to turn in a handwritten essay, he decided he was gonna actually try. I'm gonna actually try. So the night before it was due, he sat down. He had his pencil there, and he was ready to get to work. He took his time. If a word was sloppy, he erased it. And he did it again. Slowed the letters down. He was doing a really good job. The next day, he turned it in proud. It wasn't perfect, but it was way, way better than how he usually writes. Well, get this. The teacher looks at it and goes, whose handwriting is this? Mine. You proud of me? No, your handwriting has never looked like this. Somebody wrote this for you. Who did it? I promise you, I wrote it. No, you didn't. This is cheating. Cheating? No, it's handwriting. I worked hard to make my handwriting better. So now you're getting smart with me. All right, I'm writing you up. She drags him into the hallway. She's lecturing him about academic honesty. He tries to say, listen, I practiced. You told me to practice. She doesn't believe him. She calls home. The mom shows up. She knows how hard her son worked on this. She's furious. Okay, so my son is in trouble because he tried. He worked on his handwriting and now he's getting written up. Are you out of your mind? It doesn't make sense. The handwriting progress was too fast. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They bring in the principal and they make this kid write a paragraph in front of them to prove that he actually did write this essay. He sits down, he writes it. It took him a long time, but he did it. It was the same improved handwriting. The principal looks at the teacher. You owe him an apology. Teacher, red-faced, mumbling. I'm sorry for accusing you. Sure. They left. He gets an A on the paper and she never confronts him about anything ever again. After that year, she retired. She was holding up a stapler like it was a weapon. This is not a toy. Okay? Then she passes it around the class so that everyone can hold it and look at it for some reason. Now, this was the first day of first grade, and these kids are looking at the stapler like it's gonna frickin' explode. Oh. One kid's cradling it like a baby. Good stapler. Then it gets to him, and without hesitation, he takes that stapler and staples the palm of his hand. The room goes completely silent. Why did you do that? The whole reason the teacher did this was that the students can familiarize themselves with the stapler and not hurt themselves. But this kid said screw it. And now he's in pain. They rush him to the nurse. He gets a staple taken out of his hand. And the funny part is, he did the exact same thing the next week. Some people never learn. It started at lunch one day when this kid pulled out a Ziploc bag of perfectly peeled orange slices. It was clean, cold citrus. Immediately, the kid next to him goes, yo, can I have one? Yeah, for $1. The next day, he brings 2 bags. The day after that, he brings 5 bags. He starts charging people $1 per baggie. And people actually paid. Business was absolutely booming. He calls it the Fresh Citrus Company. And he draws his logo on each Ziploc bag with a Sharpie. It's an orange with sunglasses on. Within a couple weeks, business was booming so much that he was bringing these unpeeled oranges to school, and he had hired 2 other students to help him peel them throughout the day. He had to train them on how to peel because part of his business was having the perfectly peeled orange slices. He called these guys his citrus team, and he split some of the profits with them. But it all ends when a teacher pulls him aside and tells him that he has to stop.
You aren't allowed to sell food on school grounds unless approved by the district. You're shut down.
He challenged this, but then the principal got involved and it was kind of a whole thing, so the business was shut down. That day, he got together with his citrus team. They each had one last slice together, and they went their separate ways. It's been an honor, team. I will peel oranges for you anytime. Godspeed. Godspeed. You gotta respect the hustle. It was lunchtime. Everyone is sitting on the lunch tables. It's pretty packed. And well, a chain reaction starts. The one where you punch someone in the shoulder and you say, pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on. There's laughter, everybody's playing along. The row across for them sees this and then they join in as well. Well, it gets to this one kid. Pass it on. He bursts into tears. He's ugly crying. He's wailing so loud the whole cafeteria is staring at him. He bolts out of the lunchroom and goes straight to the office. No, you have to do something. He assaulted my son. I promise you we're gonna get to the bottom of this, okay? No, my son was assaulted. We demand expulsion. Cut to the kid being called into the office. Hey. I met with the kid's parents and the school board. I'm giving you a 120-day expulsion. Wait, for real? It was a game. Everybody was playing. Shut your mouth. 120 days. Even some of the kids that were at the table tried to go to the principal's office to explain that, yo, this was actually a harmless game and everybody was playing. That kid is just being a baby. But he didn't listen. And that kid was expelled for 120 days. And here's the worst part. After 120 days, he was allowed to come back. But if he messed up one time by even getting a detention, they would put him on a permanent expulsion. That's kind of messed up. Genius level 1,000. So this kid gets a job at the local movie theater. 2 tickets to the Helpful Cow, please. All right, enjoy the show. Well, day 3, he learns a pretty cool thing. All right, staff, a reminder, you all get free popcorn. Isn't that awesome? Best job ever. So every shift, right before close, he fills a bag with free popcorn. He ties it up and he stuffs it in his backpack. Popcorn into backpack. He goes home, goes into his bedroom, and he puts that popcorn into an even bigger bag of popcorn. It's a massive trash bag he keeps in his closet. He does this for days. His closet turns into a popcorn storage unit, and he's trying to keep the popcorn as fresh as possible. Then what he does is he takes his popcorn to school, and he sells it. Like, for example, one night during a basketball game, the school is selling tiny popcorn bags for $4 each. He comes in, $2, fresh movie theater quality popcorn, $2. He goes behind the bleachers and a line forms. People are ditching the real concession stand to buy popcorn off of him. He upgrades his business too. Employees get 50% off of all candy. So one day he buys a bunch, tosses it in his backpack, and sells it at school for full price. Here you have candy. Yep, Twix, Reese's, Butterfinger, what do you want? He's basically running concessions every day at school. And by the end of the year, he made more money selling popcorn and candy than the theater paid him to work there. And that is genius. You gotta respect the hustle. This class was visiting a local science center for a field trip. But when they all got on the bus, the teacher was like, wait, did anybody bring the name tags? Miss, that's your job. Turns out this museum requires name tags, especially for field trips. And they were already on the bus. So right then and there, she pulls out a Sharpie. All right, foreheads it is. And she begins writing the kids' names on their forehead. First kid, Braden. Next kid, Leela. Then Derek. Some kids try to object. No, I don't want this. Well, that's too bad. She's like, oh, it'll wash off. It doesn't. By the time they get to the museum, every single one of the students had their own name written on their forehead, and it looked absolutely insane. The chaperones were silent, stunned. They were very embarrassed. But the museum didn't do anything. They said, oh, look. There's students and there's their names. Everything's fine. Well, 3 days later, kids still had ghost letters of their name on their forehead because it was permanent frickin' marker. Parents were absolutely furious. There was even kind of like a protest at the next school board. Moms were holding...
বাবা
ভাই আমি তো এলাকা ছাড়ুম ছাড়ার আগে
তুমি একটা গিরাট টুকরা ছেলে যেই ছেলে
তানিয়া আমার পিস্তলটা নিয়ে আয় তো
টাকা দুধটা টাকা কি দুধটা রাইখে গেলাম
মাত্র সে ফেসবুকে স্ট্যাটাস দিয়েছে সে একটি অনাথ বাচ্চাকে
কত স্যাক্রিফাইস করছি এলাকার বড় ভাই থেকে রিকশা চালক হয়ে গেলাম আর সেটাই করব যে গরম না আর এই বড় ভাই তোর মায়ের চিকিৎসার দায়িত্ব নিছে।
সেলিম ভাই ভালোবাসার লেগা জেল খাটছিল।
ভাই আপনি যত কথাই
এই বাড়িতে ওই বদমাইশটার কথা একবারও ভুলে উচ্চারণ করবা না।
ভাই মিনিমাম আপনি 17 লাইনের একটা কবিতা লেখেন। 17 লাইনের কবিতা
কিন্তু ছাপাই না, সব মাথার ভিতরে থাকে। যখন পড়তে ইচ্ছা করে মাথা, আমি জানো ওরে বাপ করে দেব। আর আমি কি কমো জানো? কমু তানিয়া ভালো কেমনে বেটা কস না কেন বেটা।
এটা পড়ে আপনার প্রেমে পুরো রূপ করে পড়ে যাবো। আর তোর আপনি পারবেন ভাই, আপনি পারবেন।
ও 700 লাইন লিখবো, আর বাদ বাকি 300 লাইন আমি লেখা বললাম।
একটু নামিয়ে দাও। মানে ও ছাড়া পাক না পাক তাতে আমাদের কি?
কি খবর তোমাদের? কেমন আছো তোমরা সবাই? ভালো তো না? তুমি জানো তোমায় কালকে তো কতবার কল দিচ্ছি।
হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি রে হৃদয় তুহিন মানা করতেছি কিছু হবে না কিছু। ভাবি আপনি জানেন আমি একবার অসুস্থ হয়ে গেছিলাম, ও আমাকে রক্ত দেয়নি, আর আজকে আপনাকে রক্ত দিয়ে চিঠি লিখছে।
আমাকে বুকিং দিছে মানে আমাকে কে বুকিং দিছে দোস্ত?
তোর যে আশিক আছে না, এখন তো আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা? কেমন আছো তুমি?
ভালো।
আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো না রক্তটা দিবি তুই? আমি কেন রক্ত দেবো? প্রেম খরচ তুই রক্ত। আমার বন্ধু দিছেন আপনাকে অনেক ভালোবাসি ভাবি, আপনার ওর রক্ত যাওয়াটা বিধে হতে দিবেন না ভাবি। 073421924 এটা তোমার নাম্বার না?
জি জি, আপনি কেমন আছেন?
ভালো নেই, আমি ভালো নেই। আমিও তোর মতোই ভাবতেছি, রক্ত যদি দিতে যায় রক্তটা। আপনার কাছে এইটা আমার লাস্ট রিকোয়েস্ট ভাবি।
আচ্ছা
কখন আসবে তোদের ভাবি? আর ভালো লাগতেছে না আমার। সে যে কেন এলো
বাদ কবিতা লিখতে হইব কয় লাইন লেখছস দে নাহলে কিন্তু আমি তোকে পিটামু দে তাদের
লাগবে হইব না ভাই, এটা স্যার আপনি যেটা করবেন এটা করবো। কোন খারাপই করে কিন্তু কবিতা লিখতে পারবো না।
কোনো মাপ নাই।
এটা পড়ে আপনার প্রেমে পুরো রূপ করে পড়ে যাবো গা। আরো তো আপনি পারবেন ভাই, আপনি পারবেন।
এত কিছু ফালানোর সিস্টেম জানোস আর প্রেমে ফালানোর সিস্টেম জানোস না, কথা তো একেবারে ফালায় দেওয়ার মতো না। আগে যদি তোরা গুলিও করস আগে সালামটা দিয়ে না।
আপনার ছেলেকে আমার এত পছন্দ হয়েছে যে আমি তো বিয়েতে রাজি হয়ে গেছি।
বছরেও পড়বো না।
আমি তোমাকে চ্যালেঞ্জ দিলাম, তুমি যদি 7
মাস্তানি মুস্তানি অপরাধ, এই 7 দিন খালি খাবি আর
এরকম পট্টি দিয়ে রাখছস কেন?
আমি চাই এই মহৎ কাজটার সাথে আপনি থাকেন। আমাদেরকে 100
দুনিয়ার খাসা বেড়া। হ্যাঁ, আরে বেড়া বড় ভাইয়ের মতো একটা বড় ভাই মানে টুকুর
কিন্তু ছাপাই না, সব মাথার ভিতরে থাকে। যখন পড়তে ইচ্ছা করে মাথা আমি জানো ওরে বাপ করে দেব। আর আমি কি কমো জানো তবু তানিয়া ভালাবো কেমনে বেটা কস না কেন বেটা
তোমার আমি আসলে ফুল গাও দেয় আচ্ছা করে বুঝতেছি।
গর্জন করলেই সবকিছু অর্জন হয় না, বুঝছস?
শুধু ভাত কেন?